Good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to this special event spotlighting Tel Aviv University's role as a world hub for innovation and entrepreneurship, particularly in the aftermath of the wars of Gaza and Lebanon. Before we begin, here with us also today, we have TAU Global Leadership Community, which brings together exceptional second and third generations of Tel Aviv University donors, young, successful alumni and entrepreneurs, ages 30 to 55 from around the world, who are connected to Tel Aviv University, fostering global partnerships, innovations, and impact. So welcome. And we will start today's event with a presentation by Dr. Ronen Kreisman, CEO of Ramot, the university's commercial arm, and Chagai Itkin, Executive Director for Industrial Relations at Tel Aviv University and Chairman of Ramot. Ronen and Chagai.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I will try to be short and to walk with you a short presentation and a dream how we can make Tel Aviv University excellent science and excellent people to be one of the new generator of the Israeli economy, and how we can cultivate the rough diamond into some new industry. As you all know, even though it's a little bit blur after October 7, we are really a startup nation, and we are a startup nation because of the nature of the people and because of the culture. I think that's the figures that I show in the previous slide is rely on several foundations, is the culture, the reputation, the excellent science that we have, the innovation, and I think one of the main ingredients is the Israeli chutzpah. And this is very important. I will ask Ronen to continue, and then I will come to wrap it up, to ask you to be a partner in this dream. So Ronen, please.
So thank you, Chagai, very much for the introduction. What we want to talk today, the dream that we are talking about today, is how to promote deep technology from Tel Aviv University and from the entire country of Israel that eventually will help us sustain the startup nation, keep it alive, keep it thriving, and bring a lot of prosperity to the entire country. So I want to start by defining deep tech. Deep technology is basically, we can define it shortly as any new science or technology that is used for the first time in products, in startups, even in big companies. The characteristics of deep tech is usually, it's often technology that originates from basic research done for many years, usually in research institutions and universities. When starting companies based on deep tech, usually you need people with advanced degrees, highly trained, usually people that also come from universities. When you want to bring deep technology into the market, you need to pass through a few stages. So it all begins with the basic research. Basic research is the bread and butter of university research, but it has to end in commercial R&D, in companies, in the industry, in startups. In between basic research and commercial research and development, there is the very important stage of translational research. translational research and the process of bringing basic technology to the market has two big challenges. One of them is the cultural gap. So the culture of doing research in university and doing research and development in a commercial entity in the industry is very, very different. Different cultures, you can even say different DNA, different people, different characteristics, different motivations in many cases. The second gap is the funding gap. So usually when studying, when one wants to promote basic research to the industry, to companies, they need to find the funding for that. Then they can actually find two challenges. One of them is the translational research is usually too late or too non-basic or too applicative for research grants. Research grants for basic research, this is what usually funds university research. On the other hand, it's usually too early for companies and for investors that are investing in for-profit ventures. So this is why many technologies are stuck in what is called also, referred to also as the valley of death. And this is a problem that is inherent to translational research, mostly in deep technology. Leading in many universities and research institutes in the world try to bridge this gap and to help the funding scarcity of translational research by different mechanisms. One of them is starting evergreen foundations aimed at funding this type of research and aimed at basically creating from the profits of the results of this research, funding more research. So this is being done for many years in both in North America and in Europe, in many universities. And when we now travel back to Israel, I think as Hagai said in the beginning, Israel is very reliant. So basically what we have here is a set of natural resources that I think we owe the success of the country or Israel to these resources. It's the talent pool, it's the tech assets, it's the great culture that we have here around innovation and startups. All the progress of Israel from being mostly rural and let's say mostly a quite a backward country not so long ago, a few decades ago, to what we have now is thanks to this knowledge-based product. In addition, most of Israel's export is knowledge-based products. Many of these knowledge-based products are the fruit of deep tech from universities. However, currently the deep tech environment in Israel is challenged for some reasons. Okay, one of them also related to what we said before about academia, and in Israel it's even more prevalent. It's limited translational research funding, so it's very difficult for researchers to find funding for translational research. The country itself, the state of Israel, has been helping to fund also translational research, but the funding that comes from the government is declining. So the portion of the budget of the government that goes to translational research gets smaller and smaller over the years. And unfortunately, we have a lot of competition. We're not the only country in the world that has good deep technology. So many people, many talented people from Israel, and people that live here and are part of this ecosystem know this well, leave the country. So we also have a brain drain. So it means that entrepreneurs, investors, researchers, very highly talented employees that have gone through their education also in Israel are going to pursue opportunities elsewhere. Here at Tel Aviv University, our approach to solve this very, very big challenge is to bring deep tech into the market by building an evergreen mechanism that I'm going to talk about for a few minutes now. The main focus is the impact. So the impact is not only on Tel Aviv University, on the researchers in Tel Aviv University, on the alumni that can join companies from Tel Aviv University, etc. We believe that the impact is the entire country, the economy, and the entire ecosystem in Tel Aviv and in Israel as a whole. We believe that Tel Aviv University is the natural place to do this. I'm sure that you have heard a lot about Tel Aviv University and, of course, the researchers and the research being done here and the very, very good alumni that we have here at Tel Aviv University that are ranked very, very high also in innovation and starting companies ratings. We also, in Tel Aviv University, we also have a good infrastructure, which is in our company, Ramot. We have a good infrastructure for facilitating translational research and also for starting new companies out of research that comes from Tel Aviv University. We've been doing this for over 50 years, and currently we have reached a lot of success, impact that you can see also in products, in new products based on deep tech that come out of Tel Aviv University, came out of Tel Aviv University. Many companies, also high-profile companies, many of them are not startups anymore, and companies that were acquired and that went to be public that came out of Tel Aviv University. Currently, we have over 100 existing companies, most of them startups still, companies that are based on research from Tel Aviv University. What we propose now is to do much more, even much more than this, using our existing platform, our existing infrastructure. The mechanism that we propose for this foundation that we're talking about today is to collect products, to collect potential projects from the campus, to evaluate these projects, both from the technology side and also from the financial side, the market potential side. The projects that go through the evaluation, some of them will go to the investment committee. The investment committee will select projects based on their merit and also based on their efficiency in using funding. And the projects that are selected will be managed also within the system of the foundation. The projects that will be commercialized, some share of the product of the commercialization will go back and start a whole new cycle in the foundation, funding new projects and new companies, etc. The principles that we are going to adhere to are being very agile, with very minimal red tape, which is a little bit different than, for example, government funding. We're going to be very reactive to market needs. So each project will correspond to specific needs, and that we will also study with specific experts in this field. And our assessment will be prioritized on the benefit and the upside and the impact of these projects. We will do this across 3 different vehicles, 3 different tracks that are spanning the valley of death that we talked about before. We're going to invest in new, a little bit earlier projects, but in emerging fields. For example, quantum computing, synthetic biology, things that we will that have high potential. We're going to invest in technologies that are already deep within the valley of death. They're not mature enough to be commercialized, but they have commercial potential. And we're also going to co-invest in new companies that spin out of Tel Aviv University while attracting both investors and entrepreneurs to come and join us. Today, we don't have any of these vehicles, and sometimes many projects are stuck in between, and they are not able to get out and to go out to make their impact in the world. And the evergreen model will basically make sure that a portion of the commercialization profits of each project will go back to the foundation, funding more and more projects, while all the returns from investing in companies will go back to the foundation. This will make it evergreen and replenishable. Now I will call back Chagai to the stage to talk a little bit about the impact that we believe that this foundation can make.
I'll do it very short, not to take Moshe time, but I want to say only 2 things. We think we have a great value. There is not such a vehicle in Israeli academia. And please, I'm calling you to be our partner and make Israel great again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ronen and Chagai. And we will now start our much-awaited panel discussion. As such, I would like to invite Professor Moshe Zviran, TAU's Chief Entrepreneurship and Innovation Officer and head of the Bloomberg Sagol Initiative for City Leadership at the Coller School of Management. Dr. Eyal Benjamin, head of Coller Institute of Venture and Dan Launchpad. Ms. Heli Ben-Nun, entrepreneur, founder, CEO, director, and chairwoman. Mr. Dan Holzmann, entrepreneur, investor, philanthropist, and soon-to-be Tel Aviv University honorary doctor. And Ms. Hilla Ovil-Brenner, founder and CEO of Yazamiyot, Women Entrepreneurs, an investor and mentor.
Okay. Hi and good afternoon. I know some of the people in the audience, many not. So my name is Moshe Zviran. I'm faculty at the Coller School of Management. Used to be the dean of the school until 3 years ago. Time flies. And a proud graduate of this great university. Those that know me can feel that I'm excited. That's one of the very rare opportunities that I read rather than just speak. So in my day job today, I'm the Chief Entrepreneurship and Innovation Officer of the university and trying to promote innovation and entrepreneurship across campus. Now, can you show the slide? Now, as many of you know, yeah, this is the one. As many of you know, Tel Aviv University is ranked number 7 worldwide in growing entrepreneurs that raise money from VCs. Now, we used about less than a decade ago, we used to be number 9, climbed to number 8 jointly with Michigan, left alone in number 8, now we're number 7. Now, which is a great achievement because all the others are American universities. The top 5 are really the top 5, I mean, MIT and Stanford and so on. So it's a great honor, but number 6 is Cornell. And without bragging, they should be aware that we are chasing them. Okay, the greatest achievement, I think, is, it's a glass ceiling. Number 6 is a glass ceiling. The rest, top 5 are top 5. But based on the entrepreneurship ecosystem that President Porat supported since the early days of his presidentship, I think we survive a chance despite the situation the country is currently in. But, you know, we're patient. So when Tamar asked me to moderate this panel, I thought I'm going to take the easy path. I went to ChatGPT and asked him, okay, I need some questions. I didn't, like a student, you know, once a student, always a student. I didn't like the outcome, so I decided to write the questions myself. And I'm going to, the system is very simple. I'm going to address each of the participants with a question. He or she will address it in a very few minutes, and then the others can, of course, comment. If the audience feel that urge to ask something, you're more than welcome. They are in your hands, not in mine. But then I will start with you, okay? And as mentioned by the moderator, you're going to get an honorary doctorate today, so thank you. And there's a reason to it. Given that you know, at least I know, about your background, it is clear that entrepreneurship is in your DNA, in your blood. You embarked your entrepreneurial journey in a very young age and have remained actively involved in business creation across decades, although you're young. Looking back, what core principles of entrepreneurship leadership have stayed with you and what changed throughout the years?
Okay, first of all, shalom. I'm super happy to be here. Proud to be here. Obviously proud to get a Tau doctorate tonight. Moshe, let me start like that. I think if you would have asked me when I was young, many years ago, I would have said to a young entrepreneur, do you know how to work hard? Do you know how to work very hard? So the chance for you to be successful is there. Yeah. When I started, I actually had my first business with 18. It was a pizza delivery. It was the first pizza delivery in Switzerland, at least. At the same time, I started a nutrition company. So I actually started to work in a nutrition company at 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I changed my clothes in the car, so I'd be ready to deliver some pizzas. And then I worked until 2 o'clock in the morning in the pizza delivery. Actually closed the shop. And then I had 5 hours to get ready for my nutrition business. I did it for 7 years. I didn't take one day off. And probably that was at that time the thing to do. Yeah, it was not very much about academia, intellectual. It was like you need to work hard. Yeah, and obviously the working hard is still a part of the game. I think if I talk to my son and he asks me, I said I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You might be just too spoiled. But it's not just working hard. I think today you need to have more abilities if you want success. First of all, what I learned over the 20, 30 years is that you need to delegate. You need to empower other people. You need to make sure that you're not the smartest person in the room. I always thought when I was young, I need to be the smartest. I need to know everything about logistics, about finance, about sales. I'm going to be the guy that tells them what to do. And in the meantime, I'm just shut up and I'm listening. And I hope, I have the right people in the room that are so much smarter. I'm trying to empower them. And I think a role of a big leader today is to create new leaders, to enable them to be better leaders, bigger leaders. That's what a leader has to do. And that's what I'm focused on these days. Still playing like I'm working hard, so it's tough to reach me, but not because I'm in the office. Yeah, so that's kind of my answer. It's a little bit of shift, and I'm actually happy that it shifted, because what we learned from our parents, after war parents, is, just work hard, look down, walk the talk, and I think that changed a little bit, and it's better for the young generation. They're looking more into life-work balance, right? We didn't even know this word. For us, it was just work. Yeah.
Work balance.
Work balance. So I'm actually happy where it went. I think it's healthier for society, and this is what I tell entrepreneurs now. Be smart, not just work hard, but work smart.
Hilla?
Yeah, I would like to add.
We are short of time, so let's hold the applause to the end.
Yeah,
You steal my time.
there is a difference between the early stage of any entrepreneurship and when you grow up to a big company or bigger company. So the early stage, as you were saying, I'm just repeating your words. Work, work, work. Be bright. You have to have a good idea. You have to have a team, etc. But work, work, work. 160% of your time. But when you grow it up, then what you said is right. So you were right, but in different time of your cycle, which is a different type of cycle of any company or any startup that grows up.
I'm going to turn to Eyal. When considering two of the larger startup successes in Israel, Mobileye and Wiz, we can see two distinct origins. Mobileye comes from Amnon Shashua in the academia. He's a faculty. He's a graduate of this university, but he's faculty in Jerusalem. And while the founders of Wiz, if you ask them, they will attribute their success to their service, the joint service at the IDF, where they met and they formed a team, and not necessarily to academia. So, Eyal, it has been an ongoing debate in the last years. What really is the role of academia in general with regard to entrepreneurship and innovation, and maybe at Tel Aviv University in particular, in fostering new successful startups?
So yes, firstly, I totally agree. There is a very strong debate about this, where the role of academia in being in the world of entrepreneurship and innovation, etc. Firstly, I would like to just double-click and dig a little bit into the four founders of Wiz. Asaf has a master's degree. Ami, the four founders, okay, co-founders. Ami has got a master's degree. Yinon Costa, the third co-founder, has obviously a bachelor's degree, but top, and 3 master degrees, okay, in 3 different domains, okay. The only one that didn't have any formal education is Ro'i, the 4th, which was actually selected by the IDF to be one of the elite units, intellectual units beforehand. So he didn't have time to go to university at the time. So I think that this, yes, they had a success, but eventually the deep foundations came from the academia as well. So we can't ignore that. That being said, and by the way, none of the 4 is a Tau graduate, and they made an excellent exit.
You shouldn't say it here, but okay.
Yeah, I should say it, because if they were Tau graduates, the exit was twice the sum, I would assume.
Okay, you got it good.
Anyway, I think that there are 3 types of I did say, basic fundamentals that one will have in order to be a successful innovator or a successful founder. The first is you need some kind of basic knowledge. You need basic knowledge, science, computer science, or in business. Or so there's some fundamentals that you have to learn somewhere. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing that you will need is research capabilities. And the reason that you will need personal research capabilities is that you're doing something totally new that no one has done before. Okay? And the third is you need venturing capabilities. You have to be able to take those concepts and ideas that you researched and you found to be viable and be able to bring to the market and convert ideas into cash. And that's a long, tedious, non-linear process that you have to go through. Now, many years ago, the first 2 aspects were given solely by academia. Okay, very good by academia. So they would teach you basic science and all the fundamentals in your bachelor's degree and maybe in the master's degree furthermore. And if you'd go to a doctoral, you will do some research as well. You will start using usually during your master's degree. But until maybe, I would say, 5 or 10 years ago, venturing skills were not properly given in universities. It started maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So now there is a coverage for that as well, to an extent. And research capabilities and research facilities are now way more common. So today, it's much easier for people to get knowledge, not only through academia. I must say that this is unstructured knowledge. It's usually not as structured as you will have in university. You don't have a Q&A sessions with your professor, etc., but still you have way more opportunities to get knowledge. And you have, within larger corporations, there are very big research departments. They rely on academia graduates, but they have their own research facilities. So all those are not so much specific to university. That being said, I can't see innovation and entrepreneurship going forward without the fundamentals created inside the academic world. Just one example, you see a lot of it with the graduates. In the Coller competition, we have one winner, I think it was 3 years ago, Jeremy, which I saw him might remember, Polopo, 2 graduates of Tel Aviv University who decided that they could grow egg white proteins without a chicken and without an egg. They will do that in potatoes or any other vegetables. And these 2 amazing researchers came to us with putting their white robes back in the lab, at their kitchen, by the way. And they said, we can actually do that. They came to one of the office hours in Coller competition without a university lab, without anything of those, just the fundamental knowledge that they acquired here. And they won the Coller competition with $100,000. Today you can follow them on LinkedIn and see chicken protein growing inside potatoes down south in Israel. Took them a few years with a few support of the ecosystem and winning the Coller competition and the investments and so on. But it can work based on academia, but not necessarily with academia.
Thank you, Eyal. Moving to Heli. So since we are friends, she has an engineering degree, unfortunately, not from Tel Aviv University yet. No, yet. She realized what is good, and she is now a new governor at Tel Aviv University. So,
Thank
time.
you.
But I'm mentioning it because, engineering and computer science tend to be the natural suspects for creating new ventures. Yet, if we look at the practice, diverse leadership teams that come not only from engineering or from computer science tend to outperform the entrepreneurship ventures. And Tel Aviv University has a wealth of discipline, from STEM to medicine to liberal arts to social sciences and more. Hopefully I'm not offending anyone that I forgot. But what role should academia, but basically what role should Tel Aviv University, based on the wealth of discipline, what role should it play in fostering diversity within its entrepreneurial ecosystem?
The diversity is, you can divide it. First of all, the diversity within any startup, and then the diversity between different type of area that you have to combine. So you need both of them. The academia or actually not only the academia itself, but the place where student meets one another. One from physics, and then another one from computer. One from biology or medicine, and then one from AI systems. Create a combination where you have a better knowledge to what to look for and what to create. If you only computer and you don't know enough physics and you want to go to this area, you will never succeed. So this is type when you have the combination of basic knowledge, and I'm talking about what you call basic academia faculties. But on the other hand, any company needs at least 2 or 3 type of entrepreneurs. One that has the knowledge that you are building your product on, one that can run a company, and one can market it. Okay, so this is also a place where academia, the basic those of the BA and the MA, found one another to create the best startup.
And I forgot to mention that you're also a mentor in our
I'm a
program.
mentor and I have a 2nd degree in engineering, yes, but not,
But not from here, okay.
No.
She's a personal role model too for so many women.
Thank you.
So Hilla, I'm going to turn to you. We are all aware of the statistics that only about 5% of the startups succeed, and if I'm using my math knowledge, it says that 95% fail. And you know, looking at I would say the overrated startup nation, I want to look to draw back from Tau and look for a second at the state of Israel. What makes Israel a global leader of entrepreneurship? What are the unique characteristics of Israeli entrepreneurs that contribute to this phenomenon, and there are, and what role does culture play in this?
So first of all, I'm really excited to be here. I always do what Moshe tells me to do, so that's kind of why I'm here, but also because I'm excited to, yeah, we're all right. In my last role, I was the managing director at Techstars here in Israel, and I had an opportunity to look at a lot of different entrepreneurs from around the world, and I was really busy with the idea of why are Israeli founders so much more successful, resilient, creative, and so much has been written about this. You probably all read the book, Startup Nation, But I want to zoom out just for a second on the last period in our very sad period in Israel's chapters. But it also brings a lot of strength, and I think that's what actually makes better entrepreneurs. The last year and a half, in terms of entrepreneurship, is something that I think history will read and people will study for many, many years going forward. Israeli entrepreneurship didn't only just not stop, it actually increased, right? Defense tech has become something very, very successful, also because of the proximity we have to the war, but also because there's so many creative solutions that actually came from practical things. Health tech, cyber, everything that we know about Israeli tech has actually double-folded, and I'm excited to say that I think the last year and a half or year and, I don't know, 8 months or so, has put us in a much better cultural place to do more entrepreneurship. So it's not only everything we know about, the chutzpah, everything you spoke about, yeah, but it's also our resilience, it's also our dynamic nature, and it's also us as a nation coming together. A lot of people from outside has helped us, a lot of very generous Jews from around the world have donated a lot of money, but also invested in Israeli startups. So I'm seeing that this is actually the culture difference that I'm seeing. Yeah, you can clap for that.
And I also think, by the way, that Israeli entrepreneurs are not afraid of failing. And this is quite unique to this state. In other, in Japan, they will commit harakiri. So,
Can I add?
Yeah, of course.
About less than 20 years ago, there was investment from the biggest company in Singapore in my company. And there was a young doctor, we were both of us young, and he said, you know why you are so successful and we? Because I was admiring their culture, I was admiring their knowledge, etc. We are afraid to fail. Anyone who failed, you will never raise up and look at you. You are not afraid. You fail, you come, you fail and come. And the only reason, that's what he was saying 20 years ago less, is that we are not afraid to fail. We get up, and we must get up. So.
Yeah, that's us. So Dan, back to you. Through your generous support to the Dan Launchpad, which is the Tel Aviv University's incubator with very, very specific characteristics. There is no such operation in the world. You're playing a pivotal role in shaping the next generation of entrepreneurs, both in Israel, but also at Tel Aviv University in particular. When you engage with today's founders, and you saw quite a few of them yesterday in our meeting, what key traits are you looking for? What are some of the common mistakes you observe among early-stage entrepreneurs? And maybe even an advice how to overcome them or what to consult to them. So,
That's a lot to ask now.
2 minutes.
I think entrepreneurs should have a kind of mix between passion, but also discipline. If you don't have the passion, the vision, the passion, it's going to be very hard to survive all these years where things are not going to go well. If you don't have the discipline and just the passion, you're not going to break it down to what you need to do every day, every hour, every week and month for a few years, and you won't keep it going. So it needs the vision, it needs the passion, it needs the discipline. What I also see a lot in young entrepreneurs, a lack of focus. So what they do is they actually they go different routes. Maybe as a kind of a security, a fallback. But I think that to be successful in anything, you need to be almost like laser sharp and put the laser just on one thing. Focus very, very much on the one thing you believe might be the most successful. And it reminds me a little bit of, coming from sport, a little bit of a tennis story where they asked Peter Sampras. He was, at that time when he played, he was the best server. He had the best serve, tennis serve, right? And some journalists came to watch him at his training, and he was only training serve. And they told him, yeah, but you're not good at this. You're not good at the net. You're not good loping the ball. You're not good slicing the ball. Why are you not training some of this? You're a good server. He says, I'm only training this because that's my biggest potential. And I think it's similar to business. They should decide the direction and just go for it and stay focused. And I think the chances of surviving or being successful would be much bigger. So discipline, vision, discipline, passion, and focus. I think this is what I tell young entrepreneurs to do.
We'll remember it. Eyal, drawing on your experience in the startup ecosystem and your role as the executive director of the Dan Launchpad, and based on what Ronen and Hagai spoke earlier, I would like to explore the transition from vision, from ideas to execution. So what are the key challenges in transforming bold ideas from the academia, for instance, into scalable ventures, and how can entrepreneurial leaders effectively balance creativity with the discipline of practical implementation?
This is actually the toughest challenge that you have in venturing and taking ideas into cash, transforming ideas into cash. To answer that question, I would like to ask you, please, the audience, you up there, how many of you have any kind of managerial background? Any kind of managerial background? Hands up. Excellent, fantastic. The vast majority of the crowd here has some kind of managerial background. Managerial background means that this is what we teach usually in business schools or the management schools or whatever. So what we're trying to teach people to do is about focus, is about doing things right, about taking your company forward. Usually you come in as a manager into an existing company, an existing firm, either a public or private company, or in some kind of a role, and you try to take that company forward. You try to increase your sales, you try to make your, to make your budget bigger, you try to make better delivery of your stock, whatever, depending on your exact role in the company. And most of us do it very well. Our business school and many other business schools can take an average student, and usually within some 3 years or 4 years of academic training and some few years in the industry, we'll have quite good managers. Now let's go to entrepreneurship. When I define the deep tech, I'll define just for this session only. You are most welcome to take the Wikipedia definition if you'd like, but the definition I would suggest here today for entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurship is the art and science of creating new economic entities under extreme uncertainty. Based on this definition, the art and science of crafting new economic entities under extreme uncertainty, we can notice two things. A, the deliverable is a new economic entity. The deliverable is not a product. The deliverable is not a technology. The deliverable is not an experiment in the lab. The deliverable is a standing new business which is self-supporting. Okay, that's a deliverable. The second thing is that we have to operate under extreme uncertainty, okay? Which means that it calls for a totally different mindset rather than the managerial mindset. So moving forward, it means that there is one mindset which is taught in schools which is called the managerial mindset on one side of the brain, which talks about doing things right. And there's the other mindset, which is the entrepreneurial mindset, which is trying to define which things that you have to do. Why? The entrepreneurs have only two assets. They have their brains and have their time, 24 hours a day. That's it. They don't have marketing divisions. They don't have funding. They don't have a brand. They don't have nothing yet. This is the only two things in there. And they have to make a decision how to allocate their brain time within the 24 hours and trying to find the right things to do in order for them to able to recruit the resources and build the flywheel of their company under extreme uncertainty. Okay? And this is a totally different mindset, which includes creativity, which includes failure, which includes experimentation. Not experimentation in the lab around the product, business experimentation. And all of these skills have to be added on top of the managerial skills. Now, many of those skills actually are being taught in the performing arts, okay, and less in the business schools or other faculties. So, in order to come back to your question, Moshe, what we have is two mindsets. That was the background, okay? So, in order to get the answer right, you have two mindsets. One is the managerial mindset, one is the second is the entrepreneurial mindset. That has to be taught differently. Once you have gained those two, you have to start with entrepreneurial mindset, 90%, and another 20 or 30% of your time allocated to the managerial mindset. Yes, it goes to above 100. As Dan said, you have to work 26, 27 hours a day if you want to be a founder. And then as your venture matures and grows, you will swap them and you will have about 60 or 70% of managerial management and the rest in entrepreneurial. You will transpose as you move forward. The tipping point will be about around A+.
Can I just add something small to that? Very humble people are sitting here, but I'm a mentor at Dan Launchpad, and I was also an entrepreneur, raised about $40 million in my life, made every mistake in the book, and I wish when I was a young entrepreneur that I would go through a program like this. I've seen nearly every program in the world, and it's something very, very, very unique. So, Eyal, you're doing like an amazing, and all of you really applaud them because
Dan, thank you for facilitating it. Thank you, Hilla. But since you hold the mic, among other dimensions, we know each other from your activities in promoting women entrepreneurship.
Yes.
You're actually religious in this regard. And we all know that the proportion of women in entrepreneurship is much lower than 50%. the percentage in the population.
5%.
Yeah.
CEOs.
I didn't want to sound gloomy. Even at the Dan launch, by the way. So, why do you think this is the case, and what can be done to promote women entrepreneurship and increase their presence in the venture creation?
Okay, so much has been written about why women don't lean in, why they don't apply enough to accelerators and all that, and always the blame is on the woman and the education and all that. But I say, because I raise money, I also have 3 kids, I raised money when I was pregnant. It was not an easy thing to do, right? And I think the way to fix it, which is more important, why it happens, because why it happens, there's so many variety in the education, the fact that they don't have enough confidence. They are marrying people that, or live with partners that don't really believe that they have equal rights. There's like a zillion of those things. In Israel, unfortunately, we're even a few steps back from the rest of the world, culturally. So still, when the FedEx messenger comes in and I'm sitting behind the desk, he will still ask me where the CEO is. And still, when I send my kid to the kindergarten, she says, "Oh, are you traveling again?" Which she will never say when there is a dad who's traveling, right? There is a zillion things. So we're far behind, and there is a zillion reasons. But the way to correct it, which is more important, the half-full glass, is that there is a lot of people in the world, a lot of institutions who want to correct it. For example, Tel Aviv University is one of the institutions. We have run a very successful course in female founders, Yazamiyot, on campus. We try to train. We had some huge success stories from that, from bringing women to the front, helping them, pushing them, introducing them to investors, and showing them mostly role models. Like Hilla here, she's a role model for female founders. And culturally, we know that in feminism, we say you can't be what you can't see. The more you see these female founders, CEOs, managers, the more women feel that they could still be normal and be in their roles. So I think the way to correct it is to just bring more and more role models. And this is what we're doing here. We're also doing it at Dan Launchpad, where we just need very good people that really believe that the numbers need to change.
Moshe, if I may add to that.
As a woman.
As a woman, yeah. I'm connecting to my other side now. Hilla did not mention, but she's actually the founder and the inventor of the Yazamiyot program, and she's run this course so many times. And I think that hundreds of female entrepreneurs have been women entrepreneurs in your program already. And maybe on a side note, Sharon Barak, which is again one of the Coller competition winners, we invite her to be a role model to students in the master's degree usually. And she has a photo in her presentation of her sitting in the maternity room, like just about to bring another baby to the world, and on Zoom with the investors closing around. I mean, live, and all the students go, "Ah, I can't believe it."
So I run the biggest female founders group in Israel, over 8,000 female founders, and the idea is to kind of bring them to lean in. So the more we do that, the more partners we find, the better we do.
Before I turn to Hilla, our role model, I can't avoid, there is a common saying that behind every female founder, there is a supporting husband. And behind every male founder, there is a surprised wife. That's life. So Hilla, I'm going to turn to you, more or less continuing along the same lines. Do you believe there is a glass ceiling for women in entrepreneurship? And how can entrepreneurs, especially women, navigate the challenge of balancing between professional ambition and family life?
This is the main issue for us. There's no glass ceiling that is coming from the outside. The glass ceiling is within us. It is very important to tell everyone here that it's difficult. There are many things that she says, Zila. There are many obstacles, networking of men, a lot of things that stops you. But this is not the main issue. The main issue is that we are the woman who stops ourselves. And there is a reason for it. And we cannot ignore it. And we can, as you say, maybe with some role models and some very good tools, we can enlarge the amount, but we cannot be equal to men because we want to be mother and we want to have children, and we bear this for years, for about 15 years. In the same time, these are the most creative years of the startup, of the new entrepreneurs. So when I go, and I go, not enough, now I promise to do more, is to show them there are tools. And the tools are, one, have a supportive husband, but also get around you a supportive environment. You can be a mother for 2 hours a day, but be a mother. If you clean the house on that time, you cannot be an entrepreneur. You have to work 100%, 120. Still, you have time for family, and the moment they understand it, they have the courage. I saw so many that says, I'd rather not be the first one. I remember there was a beautiful lady, wonderful, and I asked her to be my CFO. She said, no, I don't want to be the CFO. I'll be the controller. I'm going to have 2 children in the next 5 years. I don't want to be number one, working 24/7, etc. Another CEO. I saw even a young lady, she was the second in 8200 in one of the departments, and she was to be the next one. And I said, when are you going to be the leader? She said, no, I'm not going to be the leader. I'd rather stay in this way, because in this way, sometime I'm going home. So actually, how to enable women to take the position, although it is the same fertile time for the family, it's also the fertile time for the entrepreneurship and startup. This is the challenge, and it can be done with a lot of support.
Yes.
I would add something to that. So I actually founded a few years ago a company that is in the affiliate marketing space. And we have only women affiliating. Right now, over 50,000 in 14 markets in the last 2.5 years. So what I saw, I mean, I'm watching them a lot, yeah. We are mentoring them, not me, but women, mentoring women. I think the worst thing is for a guy to tell a woman, you know, what to do and how to think, whatever. So our management, our women, our CEO, etc. So to come to the point is, what I see a lot is that these women, and we're talking about middle class, lower class women, they actually really want to break out, but they don't have any tool. So you can come to them and you can mentor them and you can nourish them and you can tell them they're great and break out and be strong and don't listen to your husband and, you know, put the kids on the side, stop to clean. But yeah, what should I do? How should I earn money? So the thing is that I think for women, we need to have like a custom-made solution, because I still think they want to have kids, right? Yes. They want to lead the family. They want to be there when the kids eat. Maybe they want even to be responsible for what the kids eat. They want to pick them up from school because they want to hear before I hear from my kids how school my wife wants to hear, the mother. So customized solution for women, like affiliate marketing. That's one where they can work from home, where they can work over social media, online. They can use AI, etc. Is going like crazy. You know, we have thousands of women joining because it's made for them. And I think the society needs. Not every woman wants to be a CEO, right, or a CFO. Some of them just want to have a few hours a day, be able to do something, earn some money, and grow, and get empowered, etc. And these solutions, I realize, are very important. I'm happy that we brought up one, and it's working.
I really agree with you. I say one little last thing. I agree with you. We need formats that really work for women. One of the formats we put together was Google Campus for Moms, my biggest pride and joy. We did 8 cycles here where moms on maternity leave come with their babies and start startups. We also had incredible results and exits from there because it's a really good time in a woman's life to make a change. And Google duplicated it in 15 places around the world. Formats like this, formats like Yazamiyot on campus, which actually takes doctorates and master degrees and turn it into ideas, are what we want to do. So.
I want to say, no, this is not. Because there is not a problem of women that are working. Israel has a lot beautiful, unbelievable women that are going out, especially in Israel, most of us, and we have jobs and we're doing it great and we are working for home. The point is, how many women will open a new startup, will be part of these 2 or 3? This is the problem. Not a problem of working outside. We are, all of us, look of everyone here, and most of us. But again, the ceiling is not for working outside home. The ceiling is being a CEO, top level, and entrepreneur. One that are leaders either in the companies or in the new venture. And there we have to do also to work.
But I want just to close the circle. Dan's response to the first question was working 25, 26, 27 hours a day, and not necessarily in the right time of life. Women probably can do it. I think this is one of the obstacles. But, we want to finish on time, still laughing, still smiling. So I want to thank Heli Binun, Hilla Ovil-Brenner, Dan Holzmann, and Eyal Benjamin. And thank you for being with us. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.